Hello, welcome to Starstruck Parenting. As we've gotten through a few episodes now, I'm not going to name off what episode it is every time. I think that gets a little bit redundant. You know where you are, you know why you're here. And if you don't know why you're here, it's because there's no coincidences, right? You're seeing this video because you're meant to see it, pure and simple. Today I want to talk about blended families. Okay, and it's something that I know intimately. First off, I want to talk about a little bit about my childhood. I was raised mostly by a single mom, and I had a stepdad come into my life when I was about 4.5. Yeah, 4.5, 5. And he was my stepdad up until I was about 12 or 13 when my mom and him split. And so one thing I want you to understand is that kids are going to come into this situation from many different angles. And they're not choosing to be put in this situation. It's something they're thrust into. So we have a few things. You've got somebody like me who I never knew my dad. So I always wanted a dad. And I was really, really, really happy to have somebody who I could call dad. The problem is when I tried to call him dad, he said, "I'm not your dad." And it wasn't until much later on when they got married that I was finally able to call him dad, and that still didn't quite work out. It was never all in on me. They had other kids, him and my mom, and those kids were his kids, and I was my mom's kid. So the first thing, if you're gonna be blending a family, you gotta be all in. You gotta be all in on the kids. You gotta be all in 100%. There's no half-assing it, guys. And that goes for the women too, okay? Men and women. You gotta be all in. If there's kids involved, if you don't want to be if you're a single guy and you don't have any kids and you don't want to be a parent, don't be screwing around with women who have kids. Period. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to the woman. And it's not fair to the child. Especially not the child. Because they're not the ones making the decisions. They're the ones just stuck in the middle of it, okay? So the other thing that's going to happen is, another option there for a child's reaction is their mom and dad split up and they want them back together. And it's hard to explain to a kid why their parents went through a breakup, especially if it's a young kid, and that they're not getting back together, right? So this new person, this interloper on the stage, ends up being an enemy, right? The kid sees that man or woman as the enemy, the person that's keeping their mom and dad from being together. So my belief has always been that we talk to our kids. Talk to them like they're little adults. No, they don't need to know all the details, but we don't just leave them in the dark. That's not fair. Okay, so back to me as a kid, right? So when Mark and my mom got together, like I said, he was never all in on me. He was all in on her. And I think the reason, like, I've gotten a bunch of different stories from my mom as to why they left, or she left, sorry. But I think the real reason is that she could sense that he wasn't all in on me, right? And when you are a single mom, especially, or a single dad who's been raising your kid on your own, and the person you're with is not all in on your child, you can sense that. Whether or not you let yourself register it in your mind, your subconscious knows that. So, like, we had a good life. I had a good life as a kid. Mark took good care of us. Everything was provided for. But there was not that connection. Like, there's no connection between me and him like there was between my sisters and him. And so I would get into trouble. I would actually go and do things. I was hanging out with the wrong people. I was doing things to get into trouble. And I was doing it because I wanted attention. I wanted his attention. I wanted him to give me the attention that I thought I deserved. And if he wasn't going to give me positive attention, I was going to get negative attention. And that's not a good way to go through life. But tell a love-starved preteen boy that. They don't, nobody told me that. Let's be honest. Nobody told me that. Nobody talked to me about it. It was just how things were. And so my wish for you is, if you are going to step into a situation where you are going to be a man with no children getting together with a woman who has children, is that you're all in on their kids. Okay? If you have kids and then you're going to blend your family, you need to be all in with their kids, but they need to be all in with your kids. And then you need to have the conversations. Okay? So a little over 3 years ago now, my wife and I got together, and I had been a full-time single dad to my son for 5 years. And my son's mom she messed him up pretty good, let's put it that way. And after, if you've listened to the first episode, after she tried to kidnap him and stuff, she hasn't seen him since that day, to be honest, when we got him back from the RCMP. But he was carrying some massive anger issues towards women. And so there was two different dynamics that took place in his house. First of all, Nicole, my wife, and I started seeing each other, and I was delivering pizzas for Domino's, okay? And so they ordered from Domino's to have me deliver it, and I brought them the pizza, and as I dropped off the pizza, she kissed me at the door. Well, her daughter, our daughter now, Alyssa, so she was what? She's 11 now, so she was 9. Yeah, 9 years old. She saw her mom kiss me, and then once the door closed, she was like, "What are you doing kissing the pizza guy?" And so that prompted that discussion there. And I was in from the beginning. I had, it was a very, very brief period of time that Nicole and I had been dating before I asked her to marry me. Now, I officially asked her to marry me on Father's Day that year because I had to get her dad's permission. I didn't have to, but I wanted to. I wanted to get his approval. But her kids accepted me into a parenting role really quick. There was a little bit of guilt on our youngest part, because she, my oldest and my youngest, they have another dad, right? I'm the bonus dad. And she didn't want him to feel jealous or feel that she didn't love him anymore because she was loving on me. And so there had to be some conversations around that, you know what, it's okay. And it's okay to have two dads. It's okay to care about two parents that are the same, right? But my son was tougher because he didn't want to let his feelings out. He didn't want to let his emotions out. He didn't even want to look at them. They were so painful for him that he would lash out at Nicole. He would just be an utter little dickhead. Pardon my language, but it's true. That's what he was being. He would never do it when I was around. He would do it when I wasn't around. And it took a good year. You know what? It took a good year before he started to soften. And now he calls her mom, and he very much loves her attention. And the thing is that it took time for her to show him, or for him to see that she really cared about him. Because the one person that was supposed to really care about him above anybody else kind of screwed him over. So that fear was there. And the idea was, if he could push her away before he got close to her, she couldn't hurt him. It's like today, they watched movies together, and she wanted me to come up. Sorry, I'm going to drink water. And I was busy, so I said, "Justin, I'll come up and hang out with you." And asked me if I wanted to, and he got the biggest smile on his face, right? To hang out and lay in bed and watch movies with mom. Like, that's super cool to him. So whenever we're looking at a relationship with somebody who has kids, whether we have kids or not, what you need to do, I don't know how to tell you what you need to do. What I would suggest is to put the kids first, right? We are raising little men and little women. And what we do, what we show them, what we model is what they're going to do when they get older. Okay? So if we model respectful behavior towards the kids, if we model being there and being reliable, if we model being all in and being loving to those kids, what they're going to do when they get older is they're going to be all in and they're going to be loving. Whether it's to the kids that they give birth to or the kids of the relationship that they get into. And I think it's super, super important because the days of people being together with one person and having a family and nothing goes wrong or nobody leaves, that's very, very rare in this day and age. For a lot of people, I think the majority of people are actually probably now having children outside of wedlock as opposed to within wedlock. And lots of people don't even believe in marriage. So what we need to do as a people, and especially as parents, is to stand up, right? I need to be my children's biggest advocate in all areas, okay? And that means that I can't go and pursue a relationship with somebody who has no interest with my kids. Now, I'm married, obviously. I'm not pursuing a relationship with anybody other than my wife. But just hear me out here. If you have children and you're pursuing a relationship with a man or a woman who has no interest in being a father or a mother to your kids, then what you're doing is you're setting your children up for heartbreak. You're setting yourself up for heartbreak. And the person that you're with or you're pursuing, you want to be with, albeit if they do decide to be with you, that's an immediate red flag that they don't actually care. Because if somebody's going to care about me, like honestly care about me, they're going to care about my kids too. Because we're a package deal. And I think more parents need to understand that they are a package deal. There's no messing around with that. Everybody's going to get hurt. Not just them, you, the kids, the whole kit and caboodle. And if you are willing to step up and be there. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I came into this relationship and I made sure that my two bonus kids knew that I wasn't trying to replace their dad. And I think that's why things went so smoothly. Because I told them, I said, I want to be your bonus dad. I'll be here to love you and take care of you and be there. But I am not and never could replace your dad. That's not what I'm here for. I'm going to love your mom and I'm going to love you guys. Okay? And when you bring it to them like that, like, our kids aren't stupid. Our kids know what's going on. Most of them know what's going on, even if you don't tell them. So have the respect for not only your kids, but yourself to have the conversation. Let them know what's going on. Now, as far as how soon do you introduce somebody to your kids, that's up to you, right? Me and my wife, we introduced our kids really quickly because, well, her daughter caught me kissing, or her kissing me at the front door. And we had to explain that. We had to talk. And what happened is I took Alyssa out on an ice cream date. Right? A couple of days later, we went out. We went for a walk on the White Rock Boardwalk and got ice cream, and we talked, and I shared my ice cream with her, and she still tells the story to this day. She said, when I asked him for a bite of his ice cream and he let me have his ice cream, I was like, that's it. I know you're going to be perfect for my mom because she's going to want to eat food off your plate. She tells that story today. And it's a huge memory for her. So I would definitely recommend, if you're going to start dating somebody who has kids, when the time comes for the introductions, take them out. Not with mom or not with their dad, but take that child on a date of their own. Take them out for ice cream. Take them out for a burger. Take them out for a walk. Whatever it is, to get to know each other. And let them ask you any question they want. Because when you're open and honest and they see that you are authentic and real, they stop worrying about their mom. They stop worrying about their other parent. And they stop worrying about what damage you're going to do to their life and start looking for what blessings you're going to bring. I'll tell you, I am so blessed to have bonus children. I love it. One of the best things that ever happened to me. My oldest one's autistic. My youngest one, she's ADHD and a little bit scatterbrained. We have hard times. We have hard times as a family. You're not going to go through life as a family and not go through hard times. You're not going to go through life, period, and not go through hard times. They're going to come. But I will tell you, having that little girl come and cuddle up with me, or having my big lug of a teenager come up and press up against me because he needs a big hug, like, that stuff melts my heart. They don't have my blood in them, sorry. But it's funny because people always see them and they think they're my blood children. Because why? Because they're my kids. They're my kids. Family is not genetics. Family is who you decide it is, who you choose to love and to be loved by. If I can knock home anything to you, it is that. Thank you guys so much for watching this, and do me a favor, share it with somebody you know who's struggling with blending a family, who is dating a single mom or a single dad. Share this for me, please, and I hope you have a great day.